To our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind ya. The heart of a lion, the team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind ya. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level. Don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is an overreaction Monday here on YSN Live. DJ Yoakley supporting the 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers alongside the 8-time best-selling author, world traveler, Emmy Award winner, and ladies and gentlemen, one win Kansas City Chiefs fan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Anthony Ronald Hartwig. Ronnie, we're on the board, baby.
On the board, let's go.
The terrible, terrible Giants, 0-3. It's the Russell Wilson curse, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers at this point. We got a dub last night. The Chiefs are on the board. They still look
Put it together in the second half. Let's go. We finally found a receiver that can catch a deep ball.
I noticed you're not wearing any red today. Just saying.
No, Georgia Tech's 4-0, and they're 16 in the country, so I'm really excited about Tech right now.
Hopping
but I wore red on Friday on the Audible call and the Cody Scoreboard show, and I wore red last Monday after we lost to the Eagles. So anyone out there that's saying, oh, he's not wearing red anymore, he's jumped off the bandwagon, we all knew. That's not true. I'm
just saying that red was bright and shiny last year a lot throughout the week, and now we're wearing blue.
I want to go back and see last year how much I wore red.
A lot, and to the point where we're getting messages about it, pal. Like you were on pace with Santa Claus for a little bit. Let's just put it that way. Okay. We have a great show as always. One of my favorite shows of the entire week is Overreaction Monday, and I think it's catching on because, ladies and gentlemen, we now have a derpy sighting. Because the guy we're going to bring on here in just a couple minutes had the opportunity to meet the Derp Man himself. And the first comment right out of the chat, Garraway who, he says. Garraway who. With his analysis of all things from last Friday and Saturday, and the only man on YSN who has ever met the Derp. Ladies and gentlemen, bring in the Pulitzer Prize winning and professor of all things in Mount Union. Ladies and gentlemen, Gregory McAfee.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Mr. McAfee, great to have you, sir.
Good to be here. DJ, I do have to say something. You have met Derpy before. You have met Derpy before. You didn't know you met Derpy. You met Derpy.
Oh, boy.
That's what I was told on Friday when I met Derpy.
He goes, I went undercover to meet DJ. Not like was he like hiding behind a dumpster? Like
I'm not sure.
Over here.
He said he's met you before, but you didn't know he was Derpy. He can probably confirm in the comments if he's still.
I'm absolutely ashamed. I'm absolutely ashamed.
The mystery of who Derpy Entertainment is continues.
Oh, Derpy's got a one-way ticket right now. DJ I feel disrespected. We're 2-1, man. We're on our way to Ireland, okay? We're out of this country. We're going to play good ball in Ireland. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We're going to come home 3-1 against the dominant Minnesota Vikings, which I don't know what they have to do with Ireland. Doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. Basically, I gave you fist bump with YSU fundraiser.
All right.
I missed my moment, man. I feel like I missed my moment right there. I feel awful. I feel terrible. I met the legendary Derpy.
You met the legendary Derpy.
I dropped the ball. All right, so let's take a stroll down Friday night for you, Greg. You actually were able to put 2 and 2 together, unlike my dumb. You know what? Let's talk about meeting Derpy for the first time. What was it like? I mean, was there an aura around him? Was there? Did you see the bright red and black highlights around him and all that is Gerard?
So I was getting set up. I was making sure all my buttons were unpushed on my soundboard, and I hear a Greg McAfee from across the press box, and he came over and he introduced himself, and then he said, I'm Derpy. I was like, oh, and I put 2 and 2 together, and that's how it happened.
Derp, you're a legend, buddy. You're a legend, pal. Not just in our comment section, but in real life, apparently. I want to give you a fist bump potentially one time. Allegedly, one time. We're going to leave it there.
A couple weeks, October 3rd, he'll be there. South Range.
I will be there in the YSN luxury suite atop
Romney
Stadium. And you also will be there, my friend.
I'll be right next to you.
Cannot wait. And the Derp journey across the sidelines over here, over onto Rominger Stadium, climb the highest of mountains, and then apparently he's going to give us. Hey, I'm going to be there for another fist bump.
Fist bump.
So we're gonna do some DNA and make sure that fist bump actually happened. I don't know how we're going to do it. I see it on CSI Miami all the time. We're going to figure it out. Greg, it is an overreaction Monday. It's not all about Derpy. It is about, though, some of the best teams and some of the toughest games that we saw over the past weekend. Where do we want to start with the teams that you're seeing just flying high up and to the right as they stay in the stock market, whose stock continues to climb here as we enter week 6?
Well, I think you got to look at some of the undefeated teams still remain. Obviously, Canfield got that. They took that thorn out of their side with Cheney on Friday, and they pulled out a big win after a tight battle early. So I think that's something good to see kind of moving forward for the Cardinals as they remain undefeated. Crestview, obviously, with a shutout win over Southeast. I mean, this is a team that's only allowed 35 points all year, and I believe 21 of them came against Liberty, which has probably been one of their biggest battles so far early this year. Actually, I don't even know if you can say early this year. We're 5 weeks into the season. Time has flown by. It's crazy. And then, I got to see Gerard in person for the first time, and I was, immediately impressed. Obviously, through the first 4 weeks of the season, we've talked a lot about this offense led by sophomore quarterback AJ Pearson and how he's got kind of weapons everywhere with, Mario Lipinski and Jaden Wade and guys kind of all over the place. But I left that game even more impressed by their defense. I mean, they really have studs all over the place. Sam Scott has been, key in their backfield on the offensive side of the ball, but he's also a pretty solid linebacker for them getting into the backfield. Alan Hess-Cardona, immediately impressed by him. He made stops on, he made 2 pretty big stops on the first drive of the game. So, I left that game even more impressed about their defense than their offense, really. Because, Garraway was a team that entered the game scoring 43 points a game, and they only scored 7. So, I mean, Gerard is the real deal. They got some battles coming up after this week. They got Lakeview this week, but then they follow it up with South Range and Poland back-to-back weeks. So it's going to be a stretch for them that's really going to show, how good the Indians are this year. And then, I mean, there's, a couple teams kind of all around the area that we got to keep an eye on. I mean, obviously McDonald's, coming up with a big win over Jackson Milton. And, I said it a little bit on Thursday, DJ, but Josh Crumpack is the newest dog in the pound over there for the Blue Devils. And then you got to look at Garfield, too. I mean, they're a team that's kind of been waiting in the wings a little bit. Their only loss of the season is to Edgewood in week 1. and they, big win, 56-22 over champion. Braden Bogucki. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but 4 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns this week. So
and then dog eligible.
Yeah, and then we also talked about Ryder Kane earlier this year. He had 6 carries, 157 yards. So the G-men are doing what the G-men do.
That's what I call efficiency. That's 10 combined carries for over 300. Well, I know my math is right. It's maybe just under 300 yards. And 2 touchdowns? That's efficiency. That is efficiency.
289 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then their quarterback threw for 111 yards and 3 touchdowns on 11 pass attempts. So nice win for Garfield this week. And they got some battles coming up. They still have Crestview on the schedule. They still have Liberty on the schedule. So some tough matchups for them coming up too.
Speaking of Crestview, Greg, the top of the region and 5-0, pal. I mean, talk about this team, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, maybe one of the biggest surprises of all of the entire 2025 season here in the Crestview Rebels.
Yeah, I mean, especially after what they lost last year. I mean, they lost a pretty big piece in their backfield, but they brought back senior quarterback Jake Nolan, who we've talked about at length through the first 4 weeks of the season, and he continues to do what he does. I mean, he threw for 131 yards this week, 2 touchdowns, and ran for another 85 yards on 8 carries and and found the end zone 2 more times. So I mean, this Crestview team is good, and I mean, they got guys all over the place. I mean, we can't overlook Mikey Proctor. After seeing him live against Liberty, he's a guy that they really can put the ball in his hands a lot and move them down the field when the passing game isn't working. And then Nolan's got a couple guys on the outside. I mean, McElhaney, I can't remember his first name off the top of my head, but he's been a top target for Nolan so far. Caden. I was watching the game this morning, and they had another McElhaney run in for a touchdown, and I didn't want to get them mixed up, to be honest with you. The two scored. One was later in the game in like the third or fourth quarter. He had a nice 10-yard run up the middle. He's a running back. And then Caden was obviously on the outside as a wide receiver. But yeah, I mean, the Rebels are running. I mean, they're a solid team so far this year. And like you said, I don't know if I would consider them the biggest surprise. I might give that title to Canfield just after how last year went for the Cardinals. But Crestview is definitely, one of the best teams in the area for sure.
And then you talk about over in the EOAC, which are, I mean, we've hit kind of the 3 divisions that we follow. Yeah. Majority, you got East Palestine. It's 5-0. I mean, for the first time, I think since the Nixon administration, which I mean, it's a joke, yes, but also very surprising knowing what they've gone through, and now they're turning into a powerhouse as they head back home to Reed Memorial Stadium to take on Wellsville, and then everybody has their eyes on next week. United and East Palestine doing battle. Greg, could this be a trap game, trap week for East Palestine heading into such a game that can make or break a season?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it seems like the Bulldogs they're ready to go. They come in focused every week. I mean, you look at their win over Lisbon. I mean, that's a rivalry game where anything can happen, and they came out in a pretty handedly way. And they got a sophomore quarterback under center who's lit up scoreboards this year. I mean, Clark Rutledge has really been impressive through the first 5 games of the year, and he continues to do so. But it's not a situation where they can look ahead. I mean, obviously Wellsville is, having one of those seasons, but I expect the Bulldogs to be focused kind of heading into this week as they get ready for United in 2 weeks.
These teams that we talked about, I mean, obviously it's a situation where they all have just generational quarterbacks. In today's day and age in high school football, do you believe that you have to have a solid dual threat quarterback to be able to compete week in and week out in whatever conference or whatever division you're in the state of Ohio?
I don't think you have to. I mean, I think it surely helps. Like when you can run the offense and move the ball and everything like that, I think it really helps to have a solid dual threat quarterback under center, or even just a quarterback who can pass, or a quarterback who can just run. I mean, but I don't think you necessarily have to be successful. I mean, I think we've seen teams over the years that have been able to, have guys under center who may, not be super successful passing the ball, but they can operate the clock. They can, hand the ball off to a talented running back, and then, the defense steps up on the other side, and that's how they win games. But really, I think to reach deep into the playoffs, to go deep into the playoffs, I think you definitely have to have a guy. I mean, and when you say that, I mean, you're thinking the best of the best. So you got to be good in all facets of the game. And I think to reach Canton, you got to have a guy who can sling the rock and run the ball a little bit, I think.
Anthony Hartwig has a question for you.
Oh yeah, just to capitalize on that, you look at the YSN football teams that have made deep runs in the playoffs over the years. We can't speak for the whole state. I'm sure there's someone in the state that did it without having, but YSN teams, almost every team that's made a deep run has had someone back there that can do a little bit of both, So I think that just speaks to it definitely helps a lot. I want to talk about Middle Ridge because they're interesting because they've had a lot of home cooking, home cooking in the first 5 weeks. Now they go on the road for 4 weeks in a row. How much of an impact do you think this big road trip is going to have on the Rams? Do you think they're built for, traveling and taking their business on the road, or do you think maybe some home cooking, might be in their favor?
When you play the game like the way the Rams do, that type of game, that type of offense travels. I mean, when you have a strong running game where you load the box and it doesn't matter how many players the defense has in the box and you can still move the sticks, that travels. Playing defense travels, and that's what the Rams have done so far this year. Obviously, they have the one blemish on their record against I believe it was United. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yep. But that type of game travels, and it's going to travel a lot for the Rams coming up. I think you look at the end of the season matchup against McDonald, and that's the one you circle on the schedule and say, all right, this is where we prepare for the playoffs. This is where we figure it out. And but over the next couple of weeks, that type of offense, that type of approach travels.
Greg, a team I know you're very familiar with. You've seen them a couple of times. The Liberty Leopards, boy, oh boy, they've been a surprise this year as well in the Dom Pro Logo era. For you, what's left for them? I mean, they've got some big games coming up. They've got Newton Falls this week, which I think could be real interesting for them as far as kind of it's not Newton Falls' year.
Yeah.
And they're having a rough go at it. This could be an opportunity to play some guys, rest some guys if they really want to. When you look at what Liberty could be at the end of the season, what do you see and why?
A competitive team. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, they got guys all over the place, and when you have a dual threat in the backfield like they do with DeJuan Moody and Deon Tutwiler, and they have a strong defense that really rallies to the ball, it is a good combination to have. I haven't had a chance to check out the film from Liberty Brookfield this week, but from looking at the box score, DeJuan Moody played quarterback for most of the game, threw 6 passes, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he also ran 28 times for 208 yards and a touchdown. So that offense can give you different looks. I mean, when we saw them against Crestview, it was Tyson Watson under center. He threw two pretty big touchdown passes against the Rebels. And then you have Deon Tutwiler in the backfield who, had 6 carries for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns, and also caught 2 passes for 85 yards and a touchdown. So they got guys. And I think having Dom Pro Logo at the helm only helps. I mean, he's a guy that sets cultures. He has kids ready to play. They play strong defense. They rally to the ball, and that's the combination for a successful team. And I'm really excited to see what they do against Garfield. They got Garfield coming up in a couple weeks as well, and I think that will be a pretty big matchup too.
One of the big things that happened in week, what are we on? Week
6. Week 5 heading into week 6.
It all meshes together. That happened. Coach Spate, win number 200 in his career at Columbiana. Obviously, you covered him a lot. You know what Columbiana brings to the table. What do you think that milestone means to that program and such a historic coach like Coach Spate?
I mean, Bobby, that's a big milestone for Coach Spade over there. It's good to see him get that one, especially in the way they did. I believe they shut out Latonia, and it's always fun. I mean, obviously, I think Columbiana has had their up years and their down years. From what I remember, they have a pretty young squad this year. Sophomore, junior quarterback Hayes McCoy is pretty solid, and they got a couple guys, around the team that are pretty solid. I think they only have 2 seniors, if I remember correctly. So it's a young team that you can build up. I mean, they've had guys over the years that have been able to light up the box score, fill up the box score. It's just about putting the whole thing together, and it's a big win for Spate, and hopefully it can create some momentum for the Clippers. Favorite mascot, by the way. Clippers. That's a great one. Let's
talk about one of the teams that really surprised us the other way. Warren JFK. I mean, 0-5, tied for 20th with just a slew of teams in Division 7. And it was at Region 24. I forget what it is. Region 24, something like that. Either way, you look at what JFK is trying to do, a tough loss to Marlington on Saturday. Can JFK move forward with this? Obviously, they've got a slate of games. They've got St. Thomas Aquinas coming up. They've got a bunch of games that they could potentially resurrect the season. Do you see JFK and the Eagles flying into the playoffs here in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably should start calling Marlington like the comeback kids or something like that, because they had that comeback against Niles a week or two ago, and then they come in and come back against Warren JFK. I was watching like the scores come in on our group chat or whatever you want to call it, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, I think Warren JFK can turn around. They can get a couple wins as the season goes on. If anyone's going to have his team ready, it's going to be Damon Buente. I mean, he's a guy that has kids focused, has them ready to go, and they got some talent over there. I mean, I've said it before over the last couple weeks. I mean, they have some guys that can go, that can play football, and I think they'll turn it around at some point for sure.
All right, Overreaction Monday, we always ask, what is, in your opinion, the biggest overreaction that you think people are going to have after week 5? What are some things that you think? What are some things that you think like people are going way too nuts about, or people are way too down about so far after week 5 is over?
I think Salem has been overlooked. DJ touchdown a couple weeks ago on zone coverage when I think they were getting ready to play South Range. And just from watching the film, I mean, they got some guys over there. Brandon Cana had 5 touchdowns this week. Great performance. I was able to get in there and watch the film and cut up a highlight and everything like that. I think they're a team to watch moving forward. I think they figured it out. Ron Johnson's a great coach. He's been there forever. He's going to have his guys ready to go. And I'm looking at their schedule right now. They got 3 games on the road: Alliance, Minerva, Carrollton, before returning home against Marlington and the big rivalry game against West Branch in week 10. I think if the arrow keeps trending upwards with Salem, that week 10 matchup could be a very fun matchup. I mean, West Branch is a team in the area that's throwing the ball around. They're spinning. Grady Hurst is spinning the rock for the Warriors. And that's another week 10 matchup that I'm very intrigued to see what happens.
Is there ever a bad time for West Branch Salem? I mean, that is one of the most
not at all.
Spirited. I don't want to say hated rivalries. Let's say spirited in today's day and age. I mean, there's never a bad time. I'd watch that 10 weeks out of 10 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a couple of those rivalries around the area. I mean, obviously Canfield Poland comes to mind. Liberty Girard. I'm assuming they have that scheduled this year. I'm not sure. That's always a fun one. McDonald Ridge is obviously a fun one. Salem West Branch always up there. Obviously you see it all the time in college athletics and things like that, but rivalries are the backbone of sports. I mean, when you have 2 programs who, have I don't want to say hatred, but a disliking of each other, it really, anything can happen in those games. And it's really fun to watch. It adds an extra intrigue, an extra layer of drama on top of, the play on the field. And it's always fun.
All right. We got to talk about this. Naturally, Poland, South Range this week. Girard's going to get in the mix in the next week. Over the next 2-3 weeks, Greg, the NE8 will be decided one way or the other. Who has the advantage going into week 6?
Well, I mean, everyone's undefeated in conference play so far, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously, I mean, what I'm really hoping for is one of those situations where, let's say, South Range beats Poland, Girard beats South Range, Poland beats Girard or something like that, where everyone has one loss because of, you know, the conference kind of like beats up on each other in a way. Just from those situations are always fun. But all three teams, from what I've seen, are very talented teams. I think just from watching film over the last couple of weeks, I mean, it is Overreaction Monday. We like to have some fun here. I would say Girard is at the top of that three groups, just from seeing them play. But, you know, things come up in conference play where you never know what's going to happen. I mean, teams really get tested to the brink. And I think all three teams have a great chance to make a deep playoff run. I mean, I've said from the beginning of the year that Poland's one of those teams to watch. Girard has kind of surprised me in a way of what they've been able to put together. I mean, I don't think anyone expected AJ Pearson to have the season that he's having. And then South Range is a team that you can never count out, no matter what year it is, no matter what talent they have on the roster. They're always going to be in the mix. They're always going to be ready to go. So the next couple of weeks will be very fun to watch. I mean, I texted DJ, not this Sunday, but last Sunday, and I was like, October 3rd, Girard South Range, can I call it with you? Because that's going to be, I said it earlier this year, like Liberty Crestview, that was the game of the week. I think Girard South Range has a chance to be like the game of the year with how both teams are playing.
Here's an interesting tidbit for you, Greg, and I know you've looked at this, but I'm looking at it right now on the Joe Idle site. Division 5, Region 17. Number 1, Poland. Number 2, Cardinal Mooney. Number 3, Girard. Number 4, South Range. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this has got all the makings. Oh, and by the way, Mooney plays South Range in week 9, so that'll be interesting. Poland plays South Range this week. Girard plays them next week. Like, South Range has a gauntlet, dude. Yeah. When you think about the rest of the season, and then by the way, you end with Hubbard. Congratulations. Like, that's not it. There's no exhale there either.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that you brought up Hubbard, I mean, they're a team, they went into this week 4-0, and they had a huge battle against Poland, came out on the losing end, but I don't think they're ever a team that you can really count out. I mean, I would say that was probably their first like really true test of the season so far. And they obviously hung in there. I think Braden Songer's a great quarterback. He's another one of those dual threat guys in the area. But South Range has they got to trek. I mean, Mooney's a team you can never count out. That's going to be a tough battle, but I would assume, this week, huge win. But I would assume that the Raiders are a team that accepts those challenges and looks forward to those challenges to test where they are. And, that's just how that's the mentality that program has.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could see all these teams match up. Sorry, Anthony. You could see all these teams match up again in the playoffs. You think about that. That's always fun. Exciting. Regular season don't matter.
Yeah, it adds an extra layer to those playoff matchups. I mean, Garaway, the team that Girard played this year, I mean, they went through Lakeview, they went through Garfield, they went through South Range last year, or they lost to South Range. But those local matchups in the playoffs are always add an extra intrigue. And obviously on our end, they're always fun because, it makes it easier on us when local teams play each other in the playoffs.
Just to reiterate from Derpy, Garaway who, Greg?
The press box on Friday was like, I wonder what this Garaway team has. And, they came in undefeated. And then, Girard, made it known who they are this year.
The answer was a whole lot of nothing.
I mean, that's it. That's a Garaway team that was strong last year. I think they lost a decent amount. They did. They had a lot of sophomores. Like their starting quarterback was a sophomore. They had a junior at running back. They had one of their top wide receivers on the outside was a sophomore.
Incredible.
So they'll be another team that will be in the mix next year. I would assume.
I mean, they're still going to be a playoff team. That could be a sneaky rematch if Girard has to play Garaway early in the playoffs, and Garaway is coming in with a little bit of revenge on their minds. Like, hey, that wasn't us when we played them in week 5. That could be something that could be a possibility when we talk about playoff time. We're talking about our YSN teams playing each other, but Garaway, they're still 4-1. I assume they're going to have a lot of success going forward in their schedule. That could be a team that gets early in the playoffs.
Yeah, they have a tough schedule coming up against a couple teams that, with no wins or no losses, sorry, or one loss in their record. So it's a tough gauntlet coming up for the Pirates. Another Pirate team that DJ picked against on Thursday. But yeah, I mean, these local matchups are fun to watch in the playoffs, and it definitely will be intriguing if we see any rematches in the early parts of the playoffs.
G, one more question. I know you're busy. You got to get out to Alliance. So I wanted to ask you about this Canfield Hickory game. There's a lot of excitement, as Bobby Havrilla alluded to. I mean, first time matchup for these two teams, a lot of storied history in their programs. Who do you like, and why do you like this matchup so much?
I just really like Canfield this year. I mean, what they've been able to prove. Obviously, we're at Canfield High School a couple of weeks ago for zone coverage. The way Enzo Coca talked about how the Cardinals are wanting to live up to the standard that the program has and everything like that. I mean, that's the foundation of any good program, is having that type of mentality, and you have a group that's playing, not just for wins and losses, but for each other, for the guy next to you. And, I think a lot of people overlook the Cardinals, I overlooked the Cardinals coming into this year, and they've really impressed me through 5 weeks. And I think that game coming up, they got a couple games coming up. I mean, I think I mentioned the Canfield Louisville game coming up, Canfield Hickory, both good matchups to watch. I mean, you have, the battle of the borders is always fun. I mean, Ohio here is right next to Pennsylvania, and you got a couple of top programs from both states facing off, and that's fun to watch. It makes for a little bit of extra intrigue here at this point in the season.
Intrigue, the word of the day here on YSN Live. Hey, I believe in crutch words, and you can do a hell of a lot worse than intrigue, pal. Greg, we can't thank you enough, man. So excited for another week with you. Any preview on what you're featuring this week on YSN Live?
Yeah, so I got a couple kind of in the chamber. I'll have a high school football notebook at some point, just kind of highlighting a couple of the storylines around the area. I'm going to try to get in touch with Canfield today, set up some type of interview. I want to talk about their start and, what they've been able to do, obviously coming off of a big win over Cheney. And then I'm still working on that quarterback story that we talked about last week, just highlighting some of the young quarterbacks in the area, Clark Rutledge, Nick Toy, the Colin Callagher over at Austintown Fitch. I mean, I'm missing some here. David Zippolita, AJ Pearson, obviously. So that's another one that I'm working on, and it's going to be a little bit of a longer one. So I want to put the work in, get all the interviews I can, and then put it together.
Buddy, you're a legend. I don't care what Anthony says about you when you're not here. So, congratulations on, again, all your success, and cannot wait to hop in that booth with you here in a week.
Yes, sir. It'll be a fun one. Yeah, October 3rd. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited, man. It's going to be good.
Yes,
going to be fun. And certainly we will talk to you, if not earlier, on Thursday for zone coverage live from Austintown Fitch, Thursday night, 6 o'clock. Greg McAfee, ladies and gentlemen, Pulitzer Prize winner and absolute stud and dog. Thanks, G. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Did you like how I transitioned that out?
Oh, yeah.
Right on the screws. Right on the screws. Got it. And he's good. He hates that full screen. Like most people do, hate that full screen of them.
Yeah.
But I had to get there to get this one, and then on the way out, so we don't have that like gap in the middle.
Right.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We figured it out.
I'll be entering this for the Emmy nomination, Emmy consideration in local sports show. So had to get that right. Probably not going to happen. We're worried about too many other things than Emmys and awards. I mean, you're stacking them up between you and an Emmy, 8-time best-selling author, and then you got Pulitzer Prize, Greg McAfee. Like, we're doing all right.
We're doing all right. You know, we got to have someone go for the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize, and then we'll be okay.
That'll be Andy Hake. There's no doubt in my mind we'll have that. That'll be Andy. The Presidential Medal of Freedom, I'm sure, is going to come along with that. Because, boy, if you tuned into that one,
we all knew it was going to be wild. It definitely lived up to the hype.
Took a hard right turn in there. No pun intended. Took a. It's like, all right, we're live here. Where do I go with this? There's no way I can edit this out. So we're gonna ride with it. So I mean, here's what I'll tell you about interviewing Andy, and I've always felt this way, and I've told him this before. It's like finding a horse in the middle of a field and trying to put a saddle on it and just like ride, like just go, because he is a bucking bronco, and you're just trying to hang on for dear life. And then sometimes he's absolutely. I will say this. I don't say sometimes. Most of the time, he's like 99% of the time, he's like a home run. Like hits it out of the park, talks about his kids, never says anything bad about any kids, any programs. Boy, sometimes though, as a journalist, as someone who interviews, you got to realize you're not in control of this horsey.
There's 1%. There's that 1%.
That 1% just keeps hitting though. Like it's like you run into a real jam if you interview Andy with somebody else, because all control is lost. Like there was a point in the it was Gary Altizer, myself, and Andy, and I want to say it was a couple years ago. We had Chris Colucci on the sidelines, and I felt like an air traffic controller that just like the Duracells in my light thingies went out, and I'm just like, oh boy, just keep. We were out of control, and Andy was just doing his thing, and you just got to let him go. Gary was kind of poking him a little bit, and then I went like, hey, we got to get down to Chris on the sideline, and then we go down to Fur Colucci on the sideline, and he's talking to his buddies. It never answered the call from the sideline reporter. So sorry, DJ. I was talking to my buddies. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
That's the way. All those years of watching YSN really paying off for you. But no, Greg McAfee is an absolute legend. Like you always know that it's going to be professional, concise, and built for these little snippets that we're doing now. These little clips, so to speak, on YSN. We gave another Andy Haig clip this morning that I thought was awesome. The Thriller one. That one had to go. He said he's going to dress.
To happen.
Do you want that to happen?
Yeah, Halloween. Halloween's on a Friday night.
Oh, can you imagine? That would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
we can make that happen. Andy will make that happen.
Imagine going to Steve Rowan and be like, hey, this is what we're gonna do on Friday night.
Don't think that conversation. That's one of those ones that you kind of ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Sorry, Steve.
I can only imagine Steve Rowan if Andy walks in there. Hey, we're gonna do Thriller. We're gonna throw them all off. We're gonna do Thriller. Kids are gonna come out dressed as zombies and stuff. I'm gonna come out and. Steve, get out of my office, Andy.
Get out of my office.
Goodbye. Run the damn ball, Steve. Run the damn ball. Where's my ice cream? I love him. I can't wait to see him on Wednesday, man. He called me this weekend. I don't know what for. And then just disappeared off the face of the earth. Could not, it was like he was on the moon. Could not get a hold of him at all. I forget what he even asked for. I was like, hey, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. All right. Love you. Bye. Love you too, Andy.
And then 5 minutes later, nothing.
5 minutes later, gone like the wind. Andy and Steve Leslie on the same track. If you don't catch lightning in a bottle, you may never see it again. You don't know how long it's going to be before you see that. Kind of like the rain here in Ohio. We got a little bit last night. Yeah. Needed it. Boy, oh boy, we don't know when we're going to get it again. So, and I know there's a lot of people I have conversations with about Andy and Steve, for that matter, that are like, boy, some of these conversations can go a little bit crazy. Like Andy here's a story I'll tell real quick. Andy watched tape of Kirtland, Marion Local, Minster, and South Range. Instead of watching tapes for preparing, for Waterloo. They watched those tapes, and Andy said, "You got to be fast. You got to be fast. You got to be." I forget the word, unhinged or some crazy word that he uses, and like you're seeing it start, Anthony. You're seeing it begin to start to creep up on tape, and if Mineral Ridge lets go of all those kind of restrictions, the restrictor plates that they've been on, right, and they start playing like an Andy Haig team. Not that they haven't, but I don't think we've seen necessarily the ceiling of the Rams this year. Oh boy. I mean, it could be a dangerous game in week 11 or 12 if they get a bye. That's the one thing that I think we need to talk about, if not today, that this week, is how this bye is going to affect teams. Because, as I just mentioned, Poland, Cardinal Mooney, Girard, South Range, 1, 2, 3, 4 in Division 5, Region 17.
Right.
They will all get byes if it ended today.
Right.
How does it affect each team differently? I think it helps teams like Mooney. Mm-hmm. It helps teams like South Range right now, the teams that are hurt and trying to get healed. Poland has a couple dings as well. But, I mean, we've seen bye weeks come back and hurt as many teams as it has helped. What do you think it'll do if the season ended today? And it doesn't. I understand that. The season ended today. Who has the best advantage of getting a week 11 bye between those 4 teams?
I think it's the teams that have already had, like Mooney's going to have a bye this regular season because they have a game open on their schedule. So I assume unless they fill it, they're going to have a bye. So they're already going to have that game. Okay, we have to handle that bye. The teams that have already done it probably have the advantage. We saw Springfield come off a bye this week, and they won, but you could tell there was a little bit of rust there. They didn't look like the normal Springfield that we saw week in and week out. So I think like a bye, even though, to be fair, Springfield was an unexpected bye. It wasn't we can plan for this kind of bye week.
Right.
But at the same time, like bye weeks can be a real tough thing. Like a lot of these high school teams aren't used to bye weeks. This isn't something that, like in the NFL, everyone gets a bye week. In college, everyone gets a bye week. So you kind of know how to navigate that situation. There haven't been a lot of bye weeks in high school football in the past. So there's not really a lot of things that coaches can lean on to say we've done this in the past and it's worked. So I think it's a case by case basis on who's going to handle it. I think a lot of the programs that kind of are stable and have been there, done that, been through a lot of situations, have the advantage. You know, your Girards, your South Ranges, those teams that have made big runs in the playoffs, Poland too. But I think if a team that kind of is new to this the big lights and gets a top 4 seed, and then they get a bye too, that could be really dangerous for that kind of team. Like maybe like an Edgewood, because Edgewood is having a really good season. So if they get a top 4 seed and, you know, they're not used to making these big top 4 seeds and big playoff runs, maybe that's a team that could maybe struggle with that kind of situation.
Well, and I think too, a lot of it is, I don't want to X this out, so hang on. Okay. A lot of it is, as you mentioned, you kind of touched on it, and going back, like they're not used to and accustomed to weeks off. I mean, when you think about every run we've seen, for the exception of Canfield, who got that, I believe they got that bye the year they won the state championship. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like there was a bye in there somewhere that got them healthy, and then they bounced back and went on that run. Here's the thing. That run wasn't, again, I am really having a struggle trying to remember, and this is bad journalism, where that bye was for Canfield in 2022. But what I can tell you is most of the time it's not going to be in the playoffs, and now it is. If you are a top 4 team, you kind of have to have that mentality for 2 weeks as opposed to just one, right? Because you have that exhale from week 10 to week 11, and now it's like, oh, okay, well, I can kind of get used to this. I can get, you know, we're not really clanging and banging, so to speak, in practice. We're trying to stay healthy, but also we don't have anything to focus on in week 11. You know, our focus is on who's going to win on Friday, so that way we know who we're playing. Because you get to that, you might know, and coaches might. Obviously, the 1 seed has a better opportunity because 16 will play the 5. Correct?
Well, 12, 5.
12 will play 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, 12 will play 5. And then you have see, I'm still not with it. It's 16 is the number in my head. We know we're getting a bye. 12 will play 5. And yes, there's a bigger opportunity potentially to have an upset there, but that means you just have to study both teams. Yep. You know, hey, if this, and the worst is if they're two completely different teams. Like if one runs spread and one, I mean, you got Garfield in there somewhere inevitably, and you're going to go, okay, they're different than everybody.
That's where I think the 1 seed's going to be a little, because the 1 seed's going to play the winner of 9-8. If that's how it's going to break down. So that's a game where you almost have to. You have no choice. You have to study both because that's a toss up. If you're the 4 seed and you're playing the winner of 5 versus 12, yes, you'll study both, but you play the odds. We're going to play the 5 seed, so you give them a little bit more time than probably the 12 when you're preparing. But if you're the 1 seed, you're playing 9 versus 8, you're sitting there like, that could go either way. We have to give equal attention to both teams.
Wait. This is news to me. They're not going to reseed after the first round?
Oh, are they reseed? I thought it was just going to be okay. If it's reseeding, then it's reseeding. I thought it was just going to be like the 1 will play the. I thought it was just going to be lined up 1 versus 9-8, 2 versus.
That's a good question. I don't know
6-11.
And I thought it was just going to be, okay, you take the 4 and then you would reseed, but they've never reseeded before, so why would they now, I guess. But I think they want it where that's a disadvantage. Is it not?
Yeah, they want it where if numbers play out, 1 would play 8, 2 would play 7, 3 would play 6, 4 would play 5. That's where I think they're lining up.
Just reseed. I think they just need to reseed after the first round. Be like,
one plays the highest.
One plays the highest seed. And I think that's, but like, again, that's more work for them. It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me.
In the comments, good point. Mooney, if they don't fill that week 10 game, they have the possibility of having 2 weeks off.
Oh, or getting jumped.
Right. So that's going to be something that Mooney's going to have to.
Because here's the thing: if you play South Range week 9, you end with that loss. Or I mean, I'm just saying, if it were a loss, you end with a loss, then a bye, and then a potential bye. Oh boy, that is a tough skate, dude. We're gonna get hammered by the Mooney people because I just had a Freudian slip right there. It's
a lot.
I can. You ever say something and in your head you just hear like thunder? Like here comes hell's bells, boys. I think we're safe with Mooney. I think like they understand that we are a very pro Mooney organization from that standpoint, as we are pro everybody. But I think that for audience, I was just saying, in an event of a loss in week 9, and then you have a bye in week 10, if you can't fill that in a bye in week 11, boy, that's a lot. Because that's essentially 3 weeks. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well,
3 weeks of no football, which is 30% of your season, your regular season of no football. Like, that's crazy to me.
If they lose in week 9, they might actually be rooting to not have a bye in week 11, because then it's like, well, man, what would we look like in week 12 versus probably a team that's coming off a playoff win with 2 weeks off? That could be real dangerous.
It all depends on what happens with Girard and Poland, right? If South Range loses to both Girard and Poland,
that's actually
then
worse.
It becomes, yeah.
Well, not really, because a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter how many losses the team you lose to has. It's this
easy, Gary. Easy. All right, let's just calm down. We just gave you benefit of the doubt. Okay, let's just calm down on this pro versus con stuff. I think that there's a lot of to quote Mr. McAfee. There's a lot of intrigue in the next 3 weeks of high school football. Do you know what that's from?
No.
There's a lot of murder and intrigue. It's Michael Scott. They're playing they got Beatrice Bourbon and Debutante. What was that game? Where they were talking about the company going under. The Office. You know that.
Yeah,
right?
I'm getting what you're talking about. I'm just struggling picking that moment out of my brain.
Bullets and Bourbon? No. That was top 5 episodes of The Office, by the way. If you've never seen it, that is my number 1. From top to bottom, the funniest episode I've ever seen in my life. And then I think right after it is the Christmas episode, which is on par with it. And I don't know who wrote it. Man, there's a lot of funny in that. And I think you got to experience the one I've always wanted to do in the comment section last week on our not in the comment, in the messages section, when somebody came at us telling what we need to do, and I said start over.
There's a couple other people that could have started over the weekend too.
Ooh,
a little reset.
Hey, I went back and looked at some of those stats. Not great. not even accurate. So I can't be mad. There's a way to go about it. There's don't burn our house down because we're not, whatever you say, like, we might mess up. And listen, I will admit we messed up on this. There was a fire. Like there was a fire in someone, like they were coming at us with pitchforks, and we apologize for anything that we ever do wrong, and we will try to make it right. Wow. Did not see that coming.
But once, like we've said it before, we're kind of at the mercy of what we're given, right? Like, and unfortunately, sometimes if we're not given the right stuff and we run with it, it's like, ooh.
Bells, Bourbon, and Bullets. There it is.
Good job, Sam.
Sam, way to go. I knew it. I knew Sam would have our back right there.
Tough
week. And it is one of the greatest episodes of all time. Also, a formal apology to Sam Torres, because he and I get into it all the time about Ashtabula versus Youngstown. Went to Ashtabula on Thursday. Okay, went to Ashtabula. And listen, we breathe Youngstown sports around here. Ashtabula on every single level is, first off, Sam Torres is like I don't even know who to say, like a rock star in Ashtabula. It is absolutely insane. He knows everybody by name, like Cheers. Like that's what it's like. I'm pretty sure he made a call to keep doubling down the establishment we went to after zone coverage. Made a call to keep it open. And he's like, hey, we're going to want the pizza. I don't know why I just spoke like he was Italian. He's like, we're going to want the pizza. And then we got the wings. Now, Sam, if you know Sam, is complete, like if it's scale 1 to 10, he's like a 14 pro Ashtabula. Ashtabula does everything better. And hey, we're right here. But after a while, you start going, oh, okay. All right, now we're talking pizza. And you're going to say that Ashtabula pizza is better than Youngstown pizza? Okay. All right, Sam. All right.
What I'm just hung up on is pizza in a place that's called Dublin.
Doubling down.
Irish themed pizza.
you weren't the only one, pal. I figured I was going to have this easy argument coming out of an Irish establishment, and we're getting pizza and wings. Here's what I will tell you. Sam wasn't wrong. Sam wasn't even close to wrong. Doubling down was legit. It was so good. What do we got here? Bobby Havrilla says, Kelvin Morrison is a dog. When did we talk about Kelvin Morrison? What am I missing here? What if he's just absolutely jobbing us right now?
He's like, let me get them.
Gotta get Kelvin Morrison on. I don't. Bobby, we don't know who you're talking about. I don't know that did we allude to something? Did I miss something?
Maybe he's still he came back with, maybe that's a player from Hickory, and he came back and he's talking about the Hickory Canfield game. I don't know.
Okay. All Anyway,
thanks,
Ashton Beulah, you got a real gem. You got a real gem. Oh, see, I knew it. Hickory. Yep. Okay.
Yep,
So
okay.
There we go. No, we didn't.
He left the conversation for a while. We came back to it.
That's like you go to the kitchen. You're like, oh man, I got that one good comment in for why I said, oh dang it, get back on. Gotta sign into YouTube again or Facebook and this. God, Bobby's all hacked off. I had it. I had it right there. I was gonna help out Kelvin. They're not gonna take this. Okay, Bobby, good job. We appreciate you. Great job in the comment section. Derp, great job in the comment section. But Sam Torres, outkick this coverage. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Anthony. And Sam can maybe help me out on this one. Brick oven pizza? Brick oven style? Oven style is not a style. Every pizza is oven style. Brick oven pizza, I want to say. Stone oven, something like that.
Stone brick. Is it stone brick?
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound
right.
I
get what you're talking about. We used to have a really good establishment in Youngstown that did the stone pizza.
He says, I know we had one shot with you guys. What did he say? Wood fire. Okay. I wasn't even close.
Not a close.
Not an oven nor stove. But but the oven has fire. We were getting there. Wood fired pizza. So Sam's like, hey, pepperoni mushroom? Yeah, I'm in. Like, go ahead. I was more, hey, I've never had bad pizza. Just pizza that wasn't as good as others. Okay. Especially in Youngstown. Never had bad pizza. So I'm not worried about it. Like, pizza is going to be pizza. Unless it comes out like, I mean, let's be honest. Freezer pizza is not the same. Right? It's not the same. Take and bake pizza is different than freezer pizza. Freezer pizza is just. I do like Jack's though. Thought I was gonna hate Jack's.
You trade a little bit of the deliciousness for the convenience with that frozen pizza.
Yeah, but it's still pizza, and it still hits. But what I will tell you is that pizza is different than the pizza I have here in Youngstown. That pizza is different, and it is good, and it's cheesy, and it is like real crisp on the bottom. Unreal. The wings, though, and I don't care who I offend with this, the wings will take on anybody around here. We had the Buffalo Bravado himself, Mr. Greg McAfee, sitting right across from me. He was judging the wings, and he's from Buffalo, okay? So that's like saying, hey, we got the guy from Youngstown talking about pizza. Jeremy from Youngstown Pizza Reviews talking about pizza. That was what we had in Greg McAfee talking about wings. And they hit hard. It was a Kelly Pavlik 1-2 punch right to the taste buds. And if this isn't an advertisement, I don't know what is. So, Sam, clip this, go sell. They were so good. They were so good. And we all kind of had like one of each other's. There wasn't a bad one in the bunch.
I feel like a good dad right now.
Sam, but you also know when you feel like that good dad, there is a level that you got to stick to. There will inevitably be a time in the next 4 weeks that Sam will hop over, just like play hopscotch with that line that he needs to stay on one side of, knowing full well. And I know it's coming. Like, I can feel it. If there was a smoke alarm, it'd be going off right now. Like, Sam is feeling real good, and he's going to get that momentum, and he's going to feel like he's invincible, and that he's going to say something on a Thursday night show, guaranteed, that is going to go, it's just going to take all the air out of the balloon. It's coming. I know it. He knows it. Greg knows it. The world knows it. Rob might not know it. Rob might not know, but we're going to find out together. You ready to spark it up?
Yeah, let's spark it up.
It's time for the Joe Dickey Electric. What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and they're available to you 24/7, 365 at DickeyElectric.com. Ronaldo, your spark, please.
So my spark goes to, let's see. We talked about where we're kind of adhered to the stats we're given. Where we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's kind of clear up for some people out there that maybe were confused about, because some of our stories that only had one team stats. If the winning team sends us stats and that's all we have to go on, then unfortunately, like, we love to involve everybody. We love to put in everybody. We're not throwing shade at teams by not including them, but if the winning team is the only one that sends us stats and we roll with that, that's just how that story is going to play out. Unfortunately, we're not going to table a story because we only have the winning team stats. We're going to try to get that content up and as fast as possible. So just wanted to point that out there too, because I know there was some confusion on a couple of our stories that maybe it felt like we were throwing shade on other teams that definitely had some plays and had some stats put up. But if we only get the information from one side of that equation, we're not going to just table that story because that's all we have. We're gonna post it and make sure that it gets up to the website.
Yeah, and I'll double on your spark here because it was kind of going to be mine. I held back in the regular show just for this segment, but I will tell you that, you know, from that perspective, Anthony, I think a lot of people need to understand that although we do get only, you know, a lot of times we get both sides, right? Yeah. Schools now, and it's really interesting to me, schools are only keeping stats for one side of the football, really, if you think about it.
Right.
Because it's like, hey, rushing yards and passing yards and stuff like that, and there's nothing to do with tackles or even special teams. And I know it's our job to, you know, kind of do, but with the way that we do what we do, it's almost impossible. And it would cost us 3 more positions to do it. And we had, I mean, if you recall, I mean, I know you do. 4 years ago, we didn't really do stories.
Right.
Like at all. And then I think you and I talked about it and we're like, hey, we probably should. We have this information. So what we did was we're taking touchdowns and stuff like that. And we really didn't get much from volleyball because it's impossible to keep track of all of that other than if you snap a picture of the book.
Right.
And we're going to let the real secret out. A lot of times you and I throw it into ChatGPT, right? We have, I'm not ashamed of it. Sometimes it comes out and it's absolute garbage and it makes up things. Sometimes it comes out and it's one of the best written stories that you've ever read. But the reality is it's all based on information and the prompts. And we've got a prompt that we feel pretty good about, except for when the stats are absolute horse manure. And I was at the game that I was doing and I was like, I don't remember seeing 4 interceptions, but it's in the stats. So that's what we go by. And I wasn't, and we got, oh boy, do we get hammered for that one. I apologize. And anytime that happens, hey, please call me. I wrote the story. Technically, it's not right. We're going to try to amend it, but we also didn't get any stats from the other side. So I was like, man, did I black out at Wildcat Stadium and they threw 4 picks? Like, I remember 1. I don't remember 4. There were a lot of turnovers. I do remember that, but I was like, man, that's a lot of interceptions. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take this out. And then I just forgot to take it out. And boy, did I pay for it. Boy, oh boy. But also, I do want to put this out there. And I'm not – I don't know if there's a good way to put this. Because we appreciate all the love and criticism of parents and aunts and uncles and grandparents. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you send us a message and you're a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa and stuff like that, and it's only concerning your kid's stats, we're probably going to dust that right under. There's use your coaches, don't be like, hey, we're going to use like the neighbor kid, to send this to you. Like there's a pecking order that we abide by. And, unfortunately parents are usually on the lower side of that because there is a little bit of favoritism and there is a little bit of, hey, I'm going to make sure that my kid gets a little bit more rub than maybe the other kids. And it, especially if you do it in a very, hateful is not the word. Rude?
Demanding?
Demanding's pretty good. We don't like that very often, telling us what we need to do or how we need to do it. But like asking, hey guys, have you checked that? Here's where we get our stats from. Here's where that would be very, very helpful because then you're bringing a solution to the problem that we're having, and we don't have to rely on whatever stats we get from whatever recommended and potential official stat users that we get them from. So we do apologize. We're not going to be right. Probably a lot. There's a lot of things we're going to be wrong on, but there is there's a way to go about things, and this isn't a shame on you. This is a hey, help us out. If you're going, but I don't think you come up with a flamethrower and burn our house down, and then be like, so there, you know what I mean? Like and tell us how terrible we are. Like, I don't want to ask it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Hey, to hell with it. Hey, if we weren't here, who would be doing this? Maybe that's a question you should pose to yourself before you send us a nasty message and tell us we're terrible at our jobs. Maybe, I don't go to Burger King and ask you about, hey, there are not enough grill marks on that patty. Like
you're terrible at this.
You're terrible. You should quit your job. Like, I don't know if that's the way to get what you want out of things, but maybe that's how you do. But hey, who am I to say? We just get yelled at constantly because we don't give enough appreciation and love to enough kids. And this isn't us being victims in any way. No way. I don't believe in that push, and then back it off. There's another podcast that does that. That ain't us. I will take accountability. The stats were not correct. But at the end of the day, neither is jumping up our to tell us how bad of an organization we are. It's like that is wild to me, and that is absolutely crazy. So, 2 wrongs don't make a right, right? Isn't that what they say?
Right.
2 lefts don't make a right.
3 lefts do.
3 lefts make a right. Nobody's left here. We're all gone. Was that all right? I wasn't like too brash?
Right on the nose.
Yeah. Anyway, that is a show for this overreaction. Maybe that was an overreaction on Overreaction Monday. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just right. Maybe it was probably a little better than I actually was on Saturday. I mean, you can imagine the way I was when I read that.
Yeah.
But probably the way you were when you read that too, because I saw the comment you put down.
The answer I put down. Yeah.
I'm just happy that we got to it before Brian did, because that would have been probably not good. Probably not good. So that's going to do it for our show today. Thank you to Greg McAfee for really piloting this Overreaction Monday. We hope you had a good time. We had a good time. And certainly we will be back tomorrow and trying to be better each and every day for you. So on behalf of all of us at YSN, Anthony Ronald Hartwig, the eight-time best-selling author. I had to count it with my fingers because you'd get lost. The World Traveler, Emmy Award winner. My name is DJ Yoakley. This has been, almost said zone coverage. This has been YSN Live on this Overreaction Monday. Anthony, may the sports be with you.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your sports network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.